If you spend any time around fitness content online, TikTok, Instagram, YouTube, wherever, you've heard it. Squeeze lemon juice into your creatine and it works better. It hits harder. It activates. It's one of the most repeated claims in sports nutrition right now. But notice the contradiction hiding inside it. The same acid that's supposed to supercharge your creatine is also the exact reason people warn you it gets destroyed. Both stories can't be true. So what does the chemistry actually say? And is there a real way to get more from every scoop? First, the basics. Creatine is stored in your muscles and brain as phosphocreatine, a rapid reserve battery that regenerates ATP, your cell's immediate energy currency, during short bursts of effort. That's the entire reason it works for strength, power, and, as we'll get to, cognitive energy demands. Here's the part of the myth that actually deserves direct testing, not just a mechanism borrowed from somewhere else. When creatine reacts with citric acid, it forms a genuine chemical compound, creatine citrate. That's not hypothetical, it's a real product, sold specifically on the promise that it's more bioavailable than plain creatine monohydrate. The chemistry is partly right. Creatine citrate does dissolve in water faster than monohydrate. That part of the claim is true and measured. But faster dissolving is not the same as better absorbed. When researchers tested creatine citrate directly against creatine monohydrate, using a standard human intestinal cell absorption model, the citrate form showed no advantage. It actually showed reduced permeability compared with plain monohydrate. And zooming out further, a 2022 critical review of every commercially marketed creatine form concluded the same thing. No alternative form, citrate included, has ever been shown to outperform plain creatine monohydrate for actual muscle uptake or exercise results. Faster in a glass, not faster in your body. Now, the opposite fear circulates just as widely, that the acid in lemon juice destroys creatine before your body can use it. It's true that in a test tube, acidic conditions can eventually convert creatine into creatinine, an inactive byproduct. That's the kernel of truth behind the fear. But the timeline matters. Stability testing found meaningful degradation in acidic solution takes about 45 days at room temperature, not the few minutes a drink sits in your hand. And in 2025, researchers stress-tested creatine monohydrate under multiple conditions: heat, light, and acidic pH similar to citrus juice, and found that acidic exposure didn't produce the same degradation signature seen under strongly alkaline conditions. Your stomach acid is already more acidic than lemon juice, and creatine has survived digestion in essentially every human trial on the supplement. A splash of lemon in a glass you drink within minutes isn't destroying your creatine. So mark the myth busted, both halves of it. Now, here's the part that actually helps. So neither the citric acid itself nor the citrate compound it forms with creatine gives you a real absorption edge. What is proven to increase how much creatine your muscles retain is insulin. Feed your body a real dose of carbohydrate alongside creatine, and insulin rises, pulling meaningfully more creatine into muscle tissue. One classic study measured whole body retention increasing by roughly a quarter with a high carbohydrate dose. And that's not just a correlation with carbohydrate intake either. A separate clamp study that directly infused insulin into healthy volunteers found the same thing. Raise insulin on its own, and muscle creatine accumulation goes up. Lemon juice's few grams of natural sugar don't come close to that amount. The myth got the ingredient wrong, but it was reaching, unknowingly, for a real mechanism. Here's what actually earns you a return on your creatine, and it has almost nothing to do with lemon. The minimum effective dose is simple: 3 to 5 grams of creatine monohydrate a day. You do not need a loading phase of 20 grams a day. That just gets you to full muscle saturation a couple of weeks faster. The end point is the same either way. And despite what a lot of supplement marketing implies, timing barely matters. A 2022 review of ingestion timing found no consistently superior window, morning, evening, before or after training, as long as you're taking it daily. The result creatine is best proven for is muscle. A meta-analysis pooling over 700 older adults found that creatine, combined with resistance training 2 to 3 times a week, added about 1 1/3 kilograms of lean tissue mass compared with training alone, along with measurable gains in chest press and leg press strength. That's the headline finding. And notice the phrase, combined with resistance training. Creatine amplifies the work you're already doing. It does not replace it. There's also a promising, if still developing, signal for the brain. Creatine is stored in brain tissue too, and several trials suggest a memory benefit, specifically in older adults. One analysis found a meaningful improvement in memory performance in the 66 to 76 age range, though almost no effect in younger adults. Worth flagging, in the interest of being straight with you, that specific finding was corrected after other researchers caught a statistical double counting error in the original analysis. After the correction, the overall effect across all ages shrank to non-significant. But the older adult subgroup finding held up. That's genuinely how good science works. It gets checked, and sometimes it gets revised. The honest takeaway is promising, age-specific signal that needs more research, not proven brain booster for everyone. A separate, larger 2024 review looking at memory, attention, and processing speed together found similarly promising signals, and it too was publicly corrected after a statistical error was flagged. That pattern across 2 independent reviews says something about how young and actively contested this specific research area still is. So how do you use the real insulin mechanism instead of the myth? Mix your creatine into something that actually contains a real carbohydrate and protein combination. Try a recovery smoothie. 1 banana, a cup of rolled oats, a cup of plant milk, a scoop of your creatine, a scoop of plant protein, and a shake of cinnamon, blended until smooth. That combination gives your body a real insulin signal to work with. Or keep your morning oats, cooked rolled oats, a spoon of nut butter, a handful of berries, and, if you love the flavor, a little lemon zest stirred in once it's cooled slightly. The zest gives you brightness and a touch of vitamin C. It just isn't doing what the myth claims for absorption. And if you already enjoy your creatine in lemon water or lemonade, keep doing it. It's not harmful in a normal serving you drink promptly. Just don't expect a citrus bonus. The size of your carbohydrate portion is what earns you one. One more practical point. Creatine monohydrate is one of the most extensively studied supplements in sports nutrition, with a well-established safety profile in healthy adults at these doses across decades of research. If you have kidney disease or another condition affecting kidney function, talk to your physician before adding it, as with any new supplement. There's one more piece of this puzzle, something about how much water you're drinking alongside creatine, that changes how noticeable these benefits feel week to week. Before we get to it, if you want to integrate steps like this into your daily routine, consider subscribing. We break down the science of longevity every week, so you can build a measurably healthier lifestyle. Now, the last piece. Creatine pulls water into muscle cells, so keep your hydration consistent. Plain water is enough, no need for electrolyte add-ons, unless you're already sweating heavily through training. That one adjustment is what makes people actually feel the difference within the first few weeks. Here's the bigger picture. None of this requires a dramatic diet change or a new identity as a supplement person. It's 3 to 5 grams a day, ideally alongside 2 to 3 strength sessions a week, using a food combination you're probably already eating in some form. What's worth sitting with is this. A molecule this well-studied, this cheap, and this unglamorous keeps outperforming almost everything marketed with a flashier story. That's usually a sign the science is solid, not that the science is boring. Your muscles, and quite possibly your memory, are running on the same basic energy currency, ATP, regenerated by phosphocreatine decade after decade. Small, consistent inputs into that system compound the same way consistent training does, quietly and mostly invisibly, until one day the difference is obvious in what you can still do. We're not here to sell you anything, just to hand you the data and let you decide what to do with it. And the data says, skip the lemon theatrics, keep the creatine, and put your carbohydrates where your intentions are. If you like this video, be sure to check out the suggested video as well. This one covers the myth about oatmeal. That's this week's science. We'll see you in the next one.